This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Sunday. Just noticed I didn't have my headphones on. I like having my headphones for what that news be doing. Makes me. Oh, they're already plugged in. I thought I unplugged them. I'm all tangled up over here. T-minus, Byronic, good evening. Rocky, welcome in, my friend. I mean, you can gloat all you want to. I mean, none of us really care. Like, it's sad that you fell for a grifter. But if you wanna come in here and gloat about how you fell for a grifter, we'll put up with it. We don't mind. Holiday, Lenny. Good evening, my friends. We got a jam-packed show tonight. All kinds of fucking news be doing stupid shit. Of course, we're going to give you an update. 16 people dead. 16 people missing currently in the... Apparently, one of the people missing is former WWE superstar... I almost said Melina. Of the... tag team M&M from the mid-2000s. Hope she's found. I liked her. Fires continue to rage. We've got video of fire retardant being dropped on a reporter. Man thought he was pulling a slick one when he dressed as a fireman. He was caught burglarizing a house. The Weather Channel is saying it did not share footage of a charred body. I shouldn't laugh. Oh my God. And so many people in the comment section of the YouTube video about the woman getting eaten by a pig. And they're all like, why are you laughing? And I don't know. I'm a fucked up individual. Why do I laugh about tragedy like this? I do a show with a troll head. Forgive me. Gonna play you lots of Mel Gibson ranting tonight for some reason. Because I hate you. I hate my chat. So I'm gonna play like 20 minutes of Mel Gibson saying stupid shit like ivermectin cured cancer. It is funnier when you're high. Justin Trudeau was on with Jen Psaki earlier today, I believe it was, talking about the absurd idea that Canada might be the 51st state. Fucking hate Byronic, get it. Flash, good evening. Oh, I don't know, I haven't heard it yet. I have no idea all the stupid shit he says. Jimmy Carter in heaven. Jimmy Carter in heaven. Seeing all that. Fuck. I'm sorry. I apologize. We had weird TV in the 90s as a kid. When you grow up watching shit like Pete and Pete. Ren and Stimpy. Going to is that what you're just calling that part of California? Weed, California? Or is that literally the name of a place? Jimmy Carter in heaven, seeing all the houses that need rebuilding in LA. It was the golden age Weed is a city in California. Okay. Fuzzy Simba, good evening. Well, I mean, it could just be like that's the place where they grow the weed in California. Fair quesadilla. Okay. Ralph Nader is going to make a case for how the Democratic Party actually fucked over Jimmy Carter. That's something I saw that he was on Democracy Now! Talking to Amy Goodman about it. So we're gonna play that clip because I fucking love me some Ralph Nader. I'm just going to where all the weed comes from in California. You know, that's what he could have meant. I don't know. Fuck, I'm not high enough for this shit. Light one up, tip one back. As long as Jimmy Carter is a complicated man, people are in mixed bags. You don't have idols, don't have heroes, because your heroes will always let you down. You see, which one you want? You got a preference? Which one? I'm drinking coffee. I got coffee over here. All three of them are laying right here. They're easy to get to. Oh my God, I cannot. One, they're huge. They're three very large kitties. And they definitely would not like that. All right, we'll make it happen. We'll get some cat. One Mr. Maynard James Kitten. Zipracilla. Did I say that correctly? Thank you for being a freaking follower. Welcome in. We about ready to find out what that news be doing. I was just going over what all we're going to talk about tonight. Justin Trudeau was on with Jen Psaki earlier today talking about the Trump proposal that Canada could become the 51st state. God damn it! Not high enough for this. The 51st state. Maybe I'm too high. Tadpole, welcome in. Good evening. We've got confirmation hearings starting this week. I'm going to be here with you for them. 8 a.m. on Tuesday is when we're going to get started. Pete Hegseth, his confirmation hearing is at 9:30 on Tuesday. We've got several nut jobs such as Pam Bondi. Her confirmation hearing is on Wednesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday this week we're going to be doing confirmation hearings. Probably get some C-SPAN calls. I got Rudy Giuliani, who was found in contempt again on Friday. Gave comments outside of the courtroom after his hearing. Steve Bannon went off on Elon Musk. Romanians are protesting in the streets after their election was canceled last month, annulled by the country's Supreme Court. A Tennessee man is dead. I think he and one other after they drove a car into the side of a food city. One of those, how the fuck did they do that kind of stories, because I've got video. A deputy rear-ended another deputy while watching porn. A father and son rescued a cop and his canine. And we'll catch you up on all the shit going on in LA County. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. If you missed your meme of the day, Jimmy Carter in heaven, seeing all the houses that need rebuilding in LA. Tadpole, what does Why Lisa mean? I looked it up, and I couldn't find it in the Urban Dictionary. Clinically, good evening. I'm dumbfounded. You've left me stumped. All right, let's get down to it tonight. The fires continue to rage in LA County. Unfortunately, winds picking back up today. Containment still a major issue.
Simultaneous wildfires that have ripped across Los Angeles still threaten
energy flow.
Days later, in one of the worst disasters in the city's history. The fierce Santa Ana winds that have fanned the flames.
I feel like this is one of the worst disasters in humanity.
LA County Fire
All
Chief Anthony Marone.
These winds, combined with low relative humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in Los Angeles County very high.
Several people have died in the flames. With many more missing, the death toll is expected to rise. Firefighters over the weekend managed to stem the eastward spread of the Palisades fire, the largest blaze, which had
It's been heartbreaking to watch.
And San Fernando Valley. Wide swaths of the Palisades have been scorched to the ground, with evacuation orders in effect in remaining areas, said LA City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley.
There are still active fires that are burning within the Palisades area, making it extremely, extremely dangerous for the public. There's no power, there's no water, there's broken gas lines.
And they are not out of the woods yet.
In Altadena, some progress was made on the Eaton fire, the second largest blaze, though its management is still, quote, a huge Herculean task, according to one local official. The two big fires combined have consumed more than 36,000 acres, or 56 square miles, 2.5 times the land area of Manhattan.
Wow.
Declared a public health emergency due to the thick, toxic smoke, with the flames carrying traces of metals, plastics, and other synthetic materials. President Joe Biden declared the fires a major disaster, clearing the way for assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, which said active duty military personnel would aid firefighting efforts.
We are not going to know the actual extent of the devastation until weeks to come. The death toll rising. It was at 10 last I talked with you. We're up to 16 people missing. This was from a press conference earlier today.
The Eaton fire is now estimated to be 14,117 acres with 27% containment. We know that over 7,000 structures are damaged or destroyed, and we have 3,155 firefighting personnel assigned to the incident. 16% of our damage inspections for dwellings have been completed, and we're working on a process to allow residents in the affected areas to be able to go online to view their home if it has been damaged or destroyed. We know that elevated critical fire weather conditions will continue through Wednesday.
Oh,
The Los
God.
Angeles County Fire Department is prepared. These winds, combined with low relative humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in Los Angeles County very high.
Palisades fire. Air and ground crews worked tirelessly overnight with favorable wind conditions to prevent further spread into the Mandeville Canyon area. The fire is currently at 23,707 acres with 4,720 personnel that are assigned with 11% containment.
Right now, with the Sheriff's Department, we have 16 missing person reports. We have 12 in Eaton and 4 in Palisades.
With the next wave of wind events, I want to be very, very clear here. It's very important that the community understands that these wind events are coming into Los Angeles. I want to reassure you that Mayor Bass, Chief McDonald, and I are united and focused on exactly what we need to do to prepare the city with these next strong winds that are coming. Every available LAFD firefighter is on hand and will remain in place through this wind event.
I mean, if we're talking like 50-mile-per-hour plus winds again, that will ground the flights that are being able to actually keep the fires in check, it's going to be 3 more days of just utter destruction. Just heartbreaking. 11% containment. Wild video as a fire retardant drop fell on a reporter as she was live.
We're here along Mandeville Canyon Road where the Palisades fire is still burning. Hand crews like this team member is on here doing everything they can to protect property while this fire continues to burn quickly down this ridge. There's a couple reasons why that's happening. You can tell by the smoke's behavior that the wind is pushing this fire along quickly, and because there's so much dry brush to burn, it moves that much faster. So again, hand crews doing what they can to spray water on it to create as much barrier between the fire and the homes as possible. But another thing they're really relying on is those aerial resources, helicopters and planes that are dropping water and fire retardant on these burning ridges, hoping to help these hand crews get a leg up, be able to get a little bit more in front of the fire, reposition, and start battling this blaze again. I want to show you something else over here. This is what fire, I'm going to help my photographer for a second. Yep, there you go. This is what fire crews are trying to avoid. Homeowners who have stayed behind in evacuation zones to fight their own battle. Really, agencies need to be taking on this work on their own. You can see a firefighter approaching him now, asking him to start to head out as this fire pushes down this ridge. Those evacuation orders are meant to be taken seriously, in part because these firefighters have a big job and they want to know that the lives in the area are safe and outside of the evacuation zone. Again, we're along Mandeville Canyon Road. This fire's still burning. The entire area evacuated. Of course, we'll keep you updated. We're hearing planes throughout the day dropping that water, dropping that fire retardant. And again, this whole street, an absolute ghost town with the exception of a very small amount of people who have decided to hang back. Again, something you really do not want to do. Along Mandeville Canyon Road, Laura Hafley. See, take a look at this. There you go. He just dropped fire retardant. That is going to hit the ground and hopefully slow these flames a little bit. I'm sorry I interrupted myself there. I just wanted to show you exactly what we've been talking about. Again, hold on 1 second. That fire,
yeah, that can't be good for you.
Give us 1 second. We're going to just protect this camera for a second so that we can show you what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it is an expensive camera.
Devin with CAL FIRE stepping in, giving us a little warning there. Thank you. Okay, so this red retardant you see on me, this is what really helps stop this fire. Now again, these flames getting a little bit more active, so we're gonna
That woman from, is it the Weather Channel?
Here along
She's like, I wear a respirator when she's got that shit on when she's on the air. And she's like, I wear a respirator when I'm not on the air with you guys. Lynx, good evening. Alien Deep Dish, welcome in, my friend. Good evening. So glad to see both of you. A man dressed as a fireman was caught burglarizing a house. Back to press conference, I think, from earlier today.
And criminal activity. We had several more arrests overnight, bringing our total to approximately, I'm going to say approximately because we're still trying to reconcile numbers, about 29, 25 in the Eaton fire area and 4 in the Palisades area. I'm going to guess that Chief McDonald may talk about this, but when I was out there in the Malibu area, I saw a gentleman that looked like a firefighter, and I asked him if he was okay because he was sitting down. I didn't realize we had him in handcuffs. We were turning him on TV because he was dressed like a fireman, and he was not. He just got caught burglarizing a home. So those are issues that are from.
I mean, I don't know that I believe that.
Officers are dealing with. So again, that's why we're.
Milf, good evening.
Patients. Yesterday in Palisades, we had 1 arrest for a curfew violation. Unfortunately, they resisted arrest. In Eaton, we had 6 arrests last.
I got a Maynard. Hold on. This is not usual. He is not a lap cat. He's laying down. He's laying down. I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. He's laying. Oh, nope. There he goes. He's gone. Ah, sweet kitty. He likes the blanket. He likes the electric blanket. He likes to be warm. Speaking of being warm, the Weather Channel apparently didn't show a body that was fresh, warm. Oh, horrible transition. The Weather Channel confirms it did not share footage of human remains after LA wildfires. Viewers claim to have spotted a body. TV watchers said debris spotted on screen resembled a dead person, but the Weather Channel has since told the Daily Mail that it was rubble from a ruined house. The spokesperson said, those social media claims are inaccurate and completely false. We have 100% confirmed that the video shows debris from the aftermath of a house fire and nothing else. Apparently, this is the footage in question. I can see where that resembles a human skull, I guess. The Weather Channel shared high-res images of the same debris from a different angle. Why is this even a thing? Even if they did show a body it's a horrific fire. People have died. I mean, it's not the Weather Channel's fault. They didn't know it was a body. Well, I don't understand. Why is this a controversy? But apparently it's not even a body. Another photo which confirms the debris is just the ruined contents of a home trashed by the fire. Perfect storm of overgrown vegetation, dry conditions, and uncharacteristic winds were responsible for whipping up the most devastating wildfire Los Angeles has ever seen. Tell me that's not a skull. That's a skull. You can see the leg bones coming out. The leg bones coming out of a skull? Texas Patriot. The Weather Channel just showed deceased fire victims live on air. This is so sad. They caught a dead body on live TV reporting on the fires. Concerned citizen whose handle is B. Gates is a psycho. Wild, wild. Don't usually play clips of other streamers on my stream, but mad props to Hassan for going out and interviewing some of the inmates who are out there fighting the fires.
A fire, there's really none. So that's like the thing.
So California State doesn't have any sort of like reintegration program.
California has MCRP program, and thank God for Scott Button, he's trying to integrate his ARC program. So MCRP is the reintegration program from being incarcerated to being on the outside. It's limited, but it's offering you a way to try to deinstitutionalize, but in a sense, it's kind of just keeping you on a leash. Sadly to say, but that's what it is. They do offer some programs, but they're very limited. Very limited because they're usually private-owned companies.
Yep.
They have you do it yourself. Like when you finish parole, they have you do your own parole. It feels like out of 10, only 3 go.
I feel
what
like,
about the rest?
I feel like if you had a job coming out, if you had something lined up, kind of like this program, if it was Cal Fire or if it was anything else, you're not gonna fuck around. You're not gonna want to lose that job. You're not gonna want to fuck over. You're not gonna fuck around with your parole.
You have something to lose. It's a tie down.
Yeah, that's what is so frustrating about stuff like this. Is that, I mean, it's just so dispensable, like expendable. They just discard you. They're like, all right, fuck off. You know, all right, you did your time. Fuck off.
It's another number, yeah.
And it's very frustrating.
So you said you kind of do political work, like infiltration, right? Since you've been kind of shining the light on some of the dark spaces, have you seen any like progress being made or kind of any like development within that field?
I mean, yes and no. I feel like people are very resistant. They're very resilient. They don't want to see the humanity of other people.
It's something I've bitched about on stream multiple times. They're paying them like 75 cents an hour. You're setting them up for failure and recidivism if you don't allow them to use the skills they developed while they were incarcerated, if you don't pay them while they were incarcerated. If they could come out having a nest egg of money because they got paid a fair wage for their work as they're saving people's property and lives. If you treat them like human beings, then they're not gonna offend again. And a good portion of the workforce that is out there doing the firefighting right now are incarcerated individuals.
All right.
Dangerous work.
Will you like it?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's almost like a respite from being? Is it better than being in prison or no?
It's way better because I was in a prison yard. I'm seeing guys get stabbed, get jumped, get beat up. The cops treat us like shit. But here, we get better treatment, right? They talk to us like humans. They talk to us like humans. We got a job. We're underpaid, but we got a job.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then the community comes out and shows us all kinds of love. We never received that growing up. We never received that kind of love.
I want to hug this motherfucker.
Yeah. So now, doing this kind of stuff and all this love coming, that's life-changing for a lot of guys. Because that's all they be needing is a little bit of recognition. With this, it's life-changing, and we get opportunities at careers.
How long was your sentence? You don't mind me asking?
17 years.
17 years.
Yep.
God damn. They're gonna shave it off.
Yeah.
They're gonna shave it off.
They're gonna shave it off. They shaving some off.
They better shave it off.
But you feel me? We ain't break.
Shave a lot off. Our prison system needs reform desperately. I love the idea that they have a job that they can go out and do and skills they can learn, but they need to be able to apply those skills when they get out. They need to be paid a living wage while they're in doing that work so that they can have money to go get an apartment when they get out and be able to integrate back into society. What a novel idea. But mad props to Hassan for using his platform to talk to those brave men out there fighting the fires and getting the shaft from the state. DJ Dub, good evening. Now allow me to show you somebody who is using his platform to go on and denigrate others, to spread hatred and miscontent everywhere. By the way, he's a Christian. I give you one Mr. Mel Gibson.
Joining us now, actor and Academy Award-winning director Mel Gibson, an old
virulent anti-Semite Mel Gibson,
tragically just lost his home to the Palisades fire. Mel,
maybe God was trying to tell you something, sir.
This fire break out. I think I talked to Raymond. I said, "Is Mel okay? Is his family okay?" I instantly thought of you. He said he thought you were okay, and I'm glad you got out. I'm glad your family is safe. But tell us what it was like to be on Rogan's podcast when I guess you learned that your home had been lost.
Well, I didn't learn it was lost. I knew the neighborhood was on fire, then I was in the path. So I was a little tense while I talked to Joe, but he's a guy that can put you at your ease fairly well. So I was doing okay.
Girl to Gray, good evening.
Safe and out of harm's way.
Were you able to get possessions? Of course, they're.
He's got such a punchable face.
But I've been to your house. It was an incredible home, beautiful home. But were you able to get anything out of your house?
Not much. A few necessary things. You know, my son I said, just go and grab this and this and this. And he grabbed like 3 things and took off. And then, you know, those are okay. Stuff like passports and a couple of papers and stuff like that. But by and large, everything was just, it looked, when I got there the other day, I went up there yesterday, it looked like Dresden, you know, after Bomber Harris got through with it. Yeah.
Mel,
so nothing left.
For those of us watching this from afar, try to convey to us the feeling of seeing your home, your neighbors' homes, and the community there at such a loss.
I mean, it's...
Dougie, good evening.
Tragic. It makes you really sad. I was actually, you know, there are neighbors I have that I was...
Krill, good evening.
Looking at them, I felt worse for them than I did for myself. You know, I look at it as a strange mixture of sadness and almost kind of an elation in a sense that I count my blessings, you know, no matter what. These are things, and they may or may not be replaceable, but they're only things, and we're still here, and I just kind of look at it as almost in a weird kind of way a purification of, but of course it's very sad, and there were many things, you know, gone in the blaze that you know, I've thought about since. I thought, oh damn, you know, that's too bad, but you know, works of art, photographs, rare books, you know, old books, some as old as, you know, 1600, you know.
Nazi books.
Irreplaceable.
And irreplaceable stuff, yeah. So
I'm glad I never liked Mel Gibson.
It was only a month ago that the flames threatened us, you know, 200 meters away on the other side. And of course the wind shifted and came in and whipped and got us from the other direction. So it was an interesting...
Do you guys have Mel Gibson movies you like?
Go on.
You know,
and here's the
you've heard a lot of people.
I've got Mel Gibson movies I like. I really like Passion of the Christ. I've done not any of his acting movies. I like Passion of the Christ a lot. Like, it's a really well done movie. And I like Apocalyptico. It's fucking awesome. But like I had the revelation on stream the other day. I told this story. In case you weren't here. I always interpreted the ending, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Apocalyptico, they like get to the end, he's running from the barbarism of almost being beheaded by the Aztecs or whatever the native tribe was, because it's not in English, there's no words or anything, but like he goes to the coast and like the white man, I guess the Spaniards or Portugal or whoever is coming over and the ships are hitting the shore, and I always looked at it as like, oh, he ran from one barbarism and ran into the other, and I always thought that was like a brilliant statement. But no. If you think about it from Mel Gibson's point of view, he's like, oh, they're bringing God and salvation to the population. Yeah. Like, that's not how he meant it at all. And then, like, when you look at it through that lens, like, well, then it's not that good of a movie. Because it's just, that's such a good ending. But now, because like that's not how he meant it. It's like, oh, Jesus is coming to save these people.
We'll say a lot of things about these fires. Obviously, the winds were horrific, but they were predicted. I know you know that last weekend, like Friday, sure. Saturday, Sunday, they said this could be tragic with these winds if any fire starts.
Sure.
Do you believe in what you know so far,
anything
could have happened like this?
Yeah, well, one always suspects that this might happen, but one thinks that the resources, and the capabilities of the men and women will be on standby.
He hasn't bitched about the Democrats, and I figured that's where this was going.
Situation that comes up.
So I'll give him props, but
some people were asleep on the job. There, but.
I spoke too soon.
That's something they have to live with, and but that's something that community has to live with. And it's really sad. I mean, I have many friends that are, looking for a place to put a roof over their heads, and kids, and they're traumatized. Someone should answer for it, but we'll see. I think we know who the culprits are.
Pray about it, Mill.
My son he's a member of the volunteer fire brigade. He sort of interfaces between LA County Fire and people, and they assist them where they can during, before, and after the blaze. And apparently the residents in Corral Canyon caught an arsonist up there. And the guy was all tooled up with fire gear and equipment and stuff like that and ready to go. And
Whoa. If this is the little Mexican dude that we covered on Friday while I was live in the morning, he wasn't all tooled up with gear and everything. We have a debate of whether, like, the neighbors just saw a Mexican dude smoking weed, because that's what he said he was doing, and called the cops on him and said he was an arsonist. So, and here Mel Gibson's like, oh, he was all tooled up in fire gear and everything, if he's referring to the same guy.
He had been lighting fires, but they corralled the guy in Corral Canyon and gave him to the police. So
yeah, apparently
there are people actively going around looking for these conditions.
Yeah, apparently, Mel, that individual was never charged. It's a very confusing set of facts.
Oh, see? No, it's not a confusing set of facts, Laura Ingram. No. It was very obvious to me when I first heard the story that, like, there could be more to this, and somebody was just seeing a Mexican in their neighborhood and decided that looked suspicious. So they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. And here Mel Gibson is saying, like, oh, he was all decked out in fire gear and shit. Fuck you, racist assholes. When Laura Ingram has to correct your ass, you know something is up.
Apparently he was reportedly trying to light things on fire.
Reportedly.
It's not the fires, I guess, that they... I mean, it all seems very bizarre, but they have not ruled...
No, it doesn't.
...that arson could have started the first fire. There's obviously still investigating this, and at the same time, Mel, there are numerous complaints, as you alluded to, that the fire hydrants did not have water or water pressure, and the LA fire chief herself reacted. Watch this.
My stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants.
Yeah, that's a technical issue. We've had that explained.
Well, you know, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think.
It is!
One begins to
because you're fucking insane!
Whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be, you know? I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
Well, Mel, there's already talk, and we played a couple of sound bites of reimagining the way rebuilding occurs. And obviously there's a great need for high-density housing in California and across the country. That's a big push by the climate folks. And you're already hearing rumblings of that. In this case, like goodbye single-family homes, high-density housing.
Yeah. It's it's pretty scary, and it'll take decades to do that too. It's like even if it, you know, if it's a good idea, which I don't know if it is, but reminds me of the old cattle barons clearing people off the land.
What?
But I don't know. I can make all kinds of horrible theories up in my head, conspiracy theories and everything else. But
we know you can.
Convenient that there was no water, and and that the wind conditions were right, and that there are people ready and willing and able to start fires. And are they commissioned to do so, or are they just acting on their own volition? I don't know. But they seem pretty well equipped, some of these people that they're catching.
A lot of questions. A lot of questions.
Ingram, just shut your ass down. They seem pretty well equipped, these people they're catching.
Oh, Mel, a message tonight.
Yeah, you know, I'll sift through the remains of my place and see if I can find any clues for you.
Mel.
Oh my God.
Message from you to Governor Newsom or Karen Bass tonight.
Spend less on hair gel.
What?
That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's all you got. Pathetic.
Not big admirer of either, but there you go.
Now, Mel, I know multiple shows and films have been put on hold. Everyone's livelihood has been put on hold, been involved in these fires, affected by the fires. And I know you have a film, Flight Risk, that's coming out in just 2 weeks.
Oh, it's a plug for his movie.
2016's Hacksaw Ridge, which we love. The Ingram family loved Hacksaw Ridge.
Was Hacksaw Ridge any good? Once again, I've liked both Mel Gibson movies that he's directed that I've watched. So, you know, maybe I ought to give Hacksaw Ridge a chance. No. Holiday says no. Did you know that Mel has the cure for cancer?
Got COVID from my gardener. And
oh my God, he got it from his gardener. He caught COVID from his gardener.
he had it first, and then I got it. And I was like, did I grab the hose or what? You know, what was? I don't know. But it was. I knew the guy for 20 years, and we both went to the same hospital, and he died and I didn't. Jesus. I think we both got remdesivir, which is not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Causes kidney failure.
I know. I couldn't walk for 3 months after I had that stuff.
Really?
Because it kills you. I found out afterwards it kills you, and that's why I wonder about Fauci. You know?
What?
I wonder about that guy. Yeah. When meanwhile, they were trying to stop people from getting monoclonal antibodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
They restricted monoclonal antibodies, which is fucking insane because they wanted to promote that vaccine because they wanted to profit off of it, which brings us back again to evil. Mm-hmm. Evil's real. It's real. Putting...
Okay. Joe is dangerously close to finding Jesus, isn't he? Because, like, some Jesus dude was on his show and blew his mind the other day. We're close to a religious conversion for Joe Rogan, and this is fucking hilarious.
Is evil.
I agree.
It's a real thing, and there's a temptation to do it too, which is even more crazy.
Yeah. I don't believe that there is anything that can afflict mankind that hasn't got a natural cure for it. I think that there has to be. It just makes sense to me. Now, I couldn't prove that, but I just believe that.
Yeah.
That there's got to be something that cures things. And I'll tell you a good story.
Okay.
Tell us.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin.
Fenbendazole.
Fenbendazole. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm hearing that a lot.
They drank hydrochloride something or other.
Oh my God!
There's now where people have proven that
People
they've
are drinking methylene blue and stuff like that.
Yeah, methylene blue, which was a fabric dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a textile dye. And now they find out it has profound effects on your mitochondria.
Yep.
On your mitochondria.
Man.
There's a lot of stuff that does work, which is very strange because, again, it's profit. When you hear about things that are demonized and that turn out to be effective, you always wonder, well, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
How is our medical institutions, how have they failed us so?
Everything he just said was batshit fucking crazy, right? Right in the powerhouse of the cell. You drink the methylene and then you change your mitochondria. Anonymously, Dougie, Monsieur Balls, Curiouser, welcome in. That's been your Mel Gibson is a batshit crazy old man portion of the show tonight. Oh my God. Does anybody have any Mel Gibson movies they like? I named 2 that he directed that I like, but I can't think of any he's acted in. Never given a shit for him as an actor. J-Man means something very different when Mel Gibson says it. Undertaker is the powerhouse of the Hell in the Cell. Is he in the original Mad Max? Is that like a really young Mel Gibson? 'Cause I did like the first Mad Max. Okay. I never watched any of the other ones. I've seen the new one with Tom Hardy. It was really good. Curiouser, you like any Mel Gibson movies? Justin Trudeau was on with Jen Psaki earlier today talking about the possibility that Canada might become the 51st state. Of course, Justin Trudeau, the current Prime Minister of Canada, but probably not for long.
Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Prime Minister Trudeau, it's great to see you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy visit to Washington to join me here in studio.
I'm glad to be here.
And you're, of course, here for the state funeral of former President Carter. Canada has also been assisting in responding to the wildfires out in California, including with Canadian water bombers in the sky, which I know is something greatly appreciated by
Canadian water bombers.
I wanted to ask you, it is clearly a fraught time in U.S.-Canada relations. And this all seems to me to be a clear effort and concerted effort to make clear to
It's been about 10 years, Monsieur Balls.
Relationship.
That's about how long
relationship. Is that a fair read?
Even popular leaders
I was going to be here no matter whenever President Carter passed away, because he'd shown up for my father 25 years ago during my father's funeral, and it's
aged him.
Friendship, not just between our countries, but between those two men. So being there for him was important for me.
The only reason I know how long it's been is because I made a video. Like, there was this Justin's Not Ready video that the conservatives made about Justin Trudeau, and like I went and replaced like me in the video, like they're talking about JustinFREAKIN and not Justin Trudeau, and that was like in 2015. That's the reason why I remember it.
In regards to the fires, well, we went through some horrific fires over the past years as well, and American firefighters showed up for us, and we're glad to help out in any way. Unfortunately, we have now a developed level of expertise around wildfire interface with urban areas where we're there to help out with, whether it's transport planes or Coast Guard cutters or water bombers or even
Pierre Polivive.
All there to help our friends in California.
Done a good job of Trumpifying the conservatives
that they're making. You may disagree with my suggestion that it's a fraught relationship, but I think some see it that way. But I think one of the reasons is because Donald Trump is, of course, going to be inaugurated in just over a week from now. He has been pushing this.
Trump took out Trudeau, but once again, it was time for Trudeau to go.
Not something you've
that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
How seriously do you take that threat?
I mean, let's remember, I got to work with President Trump through his first 4 years in office, and we were able to renegotiate the most important trade deal either of us have, which is the Canada-U.S. free trade deal, in a way that was beneficial to both our countries. And I know that as a successful negotiator, he likes to keep people a little off balance. The 51st...
A P-MILF, a prime minister that you'd like to fuck?
...are incredibly proud of being Canadian, but people are now talking about that as opposed to talking about, for example, what the impact of 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum coming into the United States, on energy, whether it's oil and gas or electricity. I mean, no American wants to pay 25% more for electricity or oil and gas coming in from Canada. And that's something that I think people need to pay a little more attention to, and perhaps the idea of a 51st state is distracting a little bit from a very real question that will increase the cost of living for Americans and harm a trading relationship that works extremely well.
It's not just Canada. He's talking about taking over Greenland and the Panama Canal, in addition to annexing Canada through economic force, as he said. Do you think is this bullying? Is it trolling? Or should we not take seriously his expansionist desires?
No. I think we definitely need to take that seriously. I think from my very first conversations with him way back in 2016, he told me how much he admires Canada, how much he appreciates. And
boy, did that drop work really well there. Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
And likes us. So I think there is a certain amount of flattery in this, that he thinks that we are as great as we are. He's right. We are great. We're also...
okay, so Alien. Energy Flow. Smart enough... He's not smart enough to troll on purpose. But he totally trolls people. But he's doing it because he's a narcissist trying to get a reaction. He's totally trolling people, though. He's not smart enough to do it strategically. I agree with your assessment. It just needed to be massaged a little bit.
Very, very proud of being Canadian. If you talk to any Canadian, you ask them to define what it is to be a Canadian, they'll talk about all sorts of different things. But one of the things we will point out is, and we're not Americans.
I mean, he's been calling you the 51st governor. Do you take that as a compliment? Does that not bother you at all? How do you feel about that?
I've been in politics an awfully long time. I tend to focus on the substantive things and not on people choosing nicknames for me. I mean, if I was that thin-skinned, I probably wouldn't last that long in politics.
That is fair. You did make a trip down to Mar-a-Lago, and you did meet with the former and future...
Kiss the ring.
What was that like? Tell me about that conversation.
It was nice to reconnect with him. Obviously, we had some conversations about what we were going to be able to do together. He very clearly...
If we spit roast Trudeau, he will shut up.
Tweet a few days before that he has concerns about the border between Canada and the United States, particularly around migration and around...
He's not my type.
Fentanyl. I was pleased to highlight that less than 1% of the illegal migrants, less than 1% of the fentanyl that comes into the United States comes from Canada. So we're not a problem, but we're happy to, and we've actually responded to his request for us to do more with billions of dollars worth of investments to even further strengthen the security.
Which Justin, me or Trudeau? Because I really don't think I have standards. I gotta like people. That's pretty much the only standard. I gotta have a connection with you. With men, I have types with men. I am kind of picky about the men I'll sleep with. Cat with laser beams back there. And I'm pretty sure there's not a single one of Trump's cabinet picks that I would sleep with, but we'll see. I'll let you know as I'm going through the list. Trump's cabinet picks are set for Senate hearings this week. Here's the schedule. So I asked you guys on Friday if you wanted me to do the Senate hearings. Starts this week, Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. Bergam would probably be the closest one. After the initial crush of personal announcements for President-elect Donald Trump's incoming administration, now the nomination process officially begins. Senate hearings are scheduled this coming week for several of Trump's picks for the cabinet. Many have met with senators individually. Now they will go before the committees overseeing the agencies that Trump wants them to run. Here's a look at the schedule for Senate hearings set so far. In Eastern Time, 9 a.m. on Tuesday is Doug Collins, 9:30. Pete Hegseth. That is one of the big ones that we're going to be watching. That's why we're going to be on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Doug Burgum for Interior Department at 10 a.m. That will wrap it up for Tuesday. On Wednesday, we get started again at 9 a.m. with Kristi Noem, nominated to be Homeland Security Secretary. Pam Bondi for Attorney General. Sean Duffy for the Transportation Department. John Ratcliffe for the CIA. Marco Rubio for the State Department at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. It's a packed day. Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi, Noem, or some of the big ones that we're going to be looking at. On Thursday is Lee Zeldin. Apparently Bondi will have a day 2. We'll meet in front of the Judiciary Committee. Zeldin being nominated for EPA. The Attorney General nominee is Pam Bondi. That's happening at 9:30 on Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be up early. Some of Trump's most notorious picks have not been scheduled yet. That includes Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, Linda McMahon, and Kash Patel. So those could very well happen the next week. We'll be here Monday for the inauguration. I'm apparently going to be on most days with you over the coming weeks. So, yay. Let's talk about Trump's pick for the Small Business Administration, the SBA. We haven't had a lot of police chases, thanks to the fact that wildfires are ravaging LA. If there have been police chases, I'm sure they've been low on resources to be able to chase them or helicopters to watch them. Trump's pick for the SBA, former Senator Kelly Loeffler, who was appointed. I think she was in Georgia. She was appointed, and then Warnock beat her. She took over somebody's. I think one of the senators died, and then there was a special election. That's where Warnock won his seat in 2021, maybe? Loeffler, Donald Trump's pick to run the SBA, couldn't even run her own small business.
Forbes, Trump's pick for the SBA, struggled to run her own small business. 2 days before the 2024 election, former U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler strode to the stage at a Trump rally in Macon, Georgia, wearing a bright pink jacket that perfectly matched the pink MAGA hats in the stands behind her. With her hand in the air, she yelled, quote, "Hello, Patriots. Is Georgia Trump country?" Speaking to the crowd, she took direct aim at billionaire Mark Cuban, who had recently said Trump does not associate with strong, intelligent women. She said, quote, "I stood up to Mark Cuban, and I said, you know what, Mark? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a former CEO. I owned a basketball team. You know, I'll take you on." Loeffler likes to paint herself as a self-made business titan. There's no question she has had a successful career, mostly at Intercontinental Exchange, the parent company to the New York Stock Exchange, where she led investor relations, marketing, and communications, accumulating enough equity to sell more than $30 million of shares and still retain a $12 million stake. But the real money in her household, a nearly 20,000 square foot spread in Atlanta, comes from Loeffler's husband, Jeff Sprecher, the founder of Intercontinental Exchange, who is worth an estimated $1 billion. Loeffler, who married Sprecher in 2004, 2 years after joining his company, chafes at the suggestion that she owes her financial success to her husband. Lately, she has jumped at opportunities to prove herself. In 2018, she became CEO of crypto startup Backed and promptly rang up massive losses. With the business flailing, she shifted to politics, right?
Wow.
Georgia's governor, who then appointed her to the U.S. Senate after Johnny Isakson stepped down amid health concerns. On Capitol Hill, Loeffler sowed doubts about the 2020 election and spoke out against Black Lives Matter, leading players on her WNBA team to campaign for her opponent. She then lost her only election, handing her seat to Baptist pastor Raphael Warnock and helping flip control of the U.S. Senate to Democrats. But with enough cash and connections, there's no end to second chances. Loeffler's latest, an appointment to Donald Trump's cabinet, where she will helm the Small Business Administration, despite her own small business struggles. Former Secretary of the Navy Richard Spencer, who worked with Loeffler before and after she joined Intercontinental Exchange, and is one of several former colleagues who remain impressed with her, says, quote, "Can't
impressed with her?
Why would I want her in charge of the SBA? In fact, the fact that she does have some things that didn't go perfectly well, you know. Don't give me the person who has always succeeded. I want the person who is a success but has failed along the way, because they know what scars are like." A communications professional, Loeffler has for self-promotion, portraying herself more like an ultra-wealthy mogul than a mere executive, complete with a rags-to-riches tale. She often talks about how she grew up on a family farm in Illinois, emphasizing humble roots while glossing over the significant scale of the operation, which reportedly included 1,800 acres and a trucking business. In 2018, Intercontinental Exchange wanted to get into crypto. The company announced that Loeffler would be leaving by the end of the year, and Loeffler announced a new business, Backed, where she would serve as CEO. By year's end, it had raised $182.5 million. But documents filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission made clear that this was not a typical startup raise. Intercontinental Exchange, still helmed by Loeffler's husband Sprecher, held a majority stake in the business. Backed mostly seemed to focus on developing a Bitcoin futures contract, which would allow traders to bet on the eventual price of cryptocurrency. Backed,
so it's just a scammer.
Finally hit the market in September 2019.
She couldn't even succeed at scamming people.
By the end of 2019, her business had generated zero revenue and accumulated $33 million of losses.
God damn.
Heavily on Intercontinental Exchange for both money and operational support, and Back's business model needed a complete overhaul. For full coverage, check out Dan Alexander's piece on
That was excellent, and that was the actual print piece that I tried to read. I was going to do it on the show, and I couldn't get behind the paywall. And I found the video. I was like, oh, well, the video works even better. I mean, Trump is known for surrounding himself with scammers and grifters. Fragwitz, good evening. One such grifter is a man by the name of Rudy Giuliani.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Federal judge on Friday found former Trump personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani in contempt of court in the defamation case against him involving former Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, the second such finding this week. Twice found in contempt, the ruling by U.S. District Judge Barry Howell in Washington over additional defamatory comments made by Giuliani comes just days after U.S. District Judge Lewis Lyman found him in contempt for failing to turn over financial information he'd been ordered to provide. This motherfucker's going to end up going to jail. Giuliani, Howell said, engaged in the worst kind of defamation against the mother and daughter, which led to them being forced from their jobs and home. Due to the avalanche of death threats, Giuliani touched off with his repeated false claims. Howell ordered Giuliani to submit to a sworn declaration in the next 10 days that he had reviewed all the evidence in the case, including testimony from the plaintiffs, that he and his attorneys had the opportunity to attend the depositions in the case, and affirmed that he understands and acknowledges that all the sworn testimony in the case refutes his allegations of election fraud against the pair. If he does not do so, he faces a $200 a day fine until he complies. If he hasn't done so within 30 days, the judge said she could increase the amount of the fine. Future violations, she warned, could lead to jail time. No, not yet. He is refusing to turn over his belongings. That's why he was found in contempt. And he's still going on about how they actually had proof that the election was stolen. That's why he was found in contempt again. This motherfucker can't keep his goddamn mouth shut. Let's hear from him. He gave comments outside of the courtroom on Friday.
That's it.
No, there's a bunch of reporters, but they're not out here.
I think they're on the other side, but...
No, I told them all over here.
What does that mean on the other side?
Way down there. I'll tell them we're out here right now.
Well, I don't want to stand here for too long.
Can we go back inside?
Oh, god damn.
I do have a cold, so...
This is the pool.
Motherfuckers got COVID out here.
15 guys I told.
I'm going to say the same thing, so...
For everyone.
Okay.
The full camera goes to everyone.
I'm waiting for a car, so I don't mind waiting a minute. Is that a car right there?
Is that us? No, I don't think so. We still got a minute.
Milf, I'm strangely turned on by that. That'd be something I'd want to watch. We get to listen to Rudy breathe into the microphone. Look like the stupid fuck he is.
Notice she's talking about criminal contempt because she's dying to put me in jail, like she put all the J6 people in jail. Woman's bloodthirsty.
Bloodthirsty.
Constitutional order. What?
That's an unconstitutional order.
Oh, what does she care? How many did she do for the J6 people?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Telling other judges they weren't given strong enough sentences? I mean, that is a mockery of a judge who has an opinion prepared. You had to have prepared that decision yesterday or the day before with all the citations in it.
Can you tell the room that...
Oh my God. Well, yeah? Are you telling me judges aren't thorough?
The whole room like...
I hope they noticed that it was an absolute deception when she said she just prepared it and smiled.
So should we just go? Are we good to go?
That sounds like contempt to me.
What?
Okay, can you tell them, so that help, can you just tell the room that we're out here? Just let them know.
Mr. Giuliani,
Okay,
are you going to ask Donald Trump for any help or money?
No, this has nothing to do with Donald Trump. What this has to do with is a complete abdication of the American legal system in the District of Columbia, and this judge might be primarily responsible for it. Remember, this is the J6 judge, January 6 defendant, who was annoyed that the other judges didn't give long enough prison sentences. Notice how she's dying to give me a prison sentence, even though it would be unconstitutional. But the most important and egregious thing that even you have to recognize...
She should have put you in jail a long time ago, you bitch.
Obviously didn't get a fair hearing. she had the thing prepared before we ever started. You can't read that 20, 30-minute thing with all of the citations in it and prepare it after I testified. She never even left the bench. So this is a put-up job. I wrote it before I went in. If you check my X account, I said there can be a phony case. She's going to have that decision prepared before I even go out and testify. I'm absolutely right because I know what a dishonest and dishonorable judge she is. I shouldn't be the one that's paying fines. I shouldn't be the one in contempt. She should be. And when somebody reviews what she did with J6,
it's the Pee Wee Herman legal defense.
It's been a disgrace.
I'm not in contempt. She's in contempt.
It was a farce. She put on an absolute farce and a clown show. She basically made the argument for the former attorney for Hunter Biden, Mr. Gottlieb, and the former attorney for the crooked company Burisma.
What?
That he represented, that I uncovered, which is the reason why he's the
anti-war machine
to help the Bidens. You got to be crazy not to realize that. Mr. Gottlieb.
How did he pull Hunter Biden into this?
One of the most crooked companies in Ukraine. I uncovered the criminality of Burisma. He was Hunter Biden's law partner. I uncovered the criminality of Hunter Biden. He also has raised money for these activist groups that go around suing Trump lawyers. So this isn't a real...
I mean, I assume Trump's going to pardon him unless he did something to piss Trump off.
By every one of his statements, the last group of which
Trump won't care.
Complete lie. She helped him. She helped make arguments for him. Then, I don't know, you have much doubt when she has her...
Maybe Trump never even liked Rudy.
While the trial's going on. That's a judge who's fixed, ideologically. She is a terrible judge.
Alien, I think that's where this is from. I think the clip is from the Four Seasons thing.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
He gave multiple press conferences around that time, but I want to say that's from because I think he even says it right before they declare Biden the winner, because he's at that press conference when the reporters tell him that Biden has been declared the winner. It's so fucking funny.
Judge, she's been a disgrace to the District of Columbia District Court, and she proves to continue to be a disgrace. That was just an indication of how she conducted the trial, which was much more similar to something that would happen in the old Soviet Union or Nazi Germany, or maybe now in China. Not in America. Judges in America consider both sides. She only considered one side because she wrote it before she heard from it. If I can't get this appealed, we're not just in lawfare, we're in a system of justice that has no justice.
What's the end game for you here, though?
Pardon me?
What's the end game for you here, though?
The end game is getting it reversed. Okay. I mean, I can't believe it's not going to get reversed. You think $145 million was an absolutely rational judgment?
Yes.
What do you still think?
Look at the way she acted today. She didn't act like a judge who had a mission, as opposed to judges shouldn't have missions. The mission should be doing justice.
He said he looked like a dog.
The opinion against one side before the case even starts. Thank you. There's really nothing else to say.
I mean, do you still think that 2020...
He farted during a hearing.
I'm not going to comment on the 2020 election. My comments on that are they're clear. Haven't taken one of them back, and they're under oath.
Jack Smith,
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What?
What are you expecting Jack Smith's report to say?
I expect Jack Smith should report to a federal penitentiary for the crimes that he committed in going after Donald Trump and doing the same thing to Donald Trump that he did to Governor McDonald. There's another guy who his pattern is laid out. He framed Governor McDonald. He got reversed by the Supreme Court, 8-0. Supreme Court explained he's one of the most unethical prosecutors in America. And Garland picked him because he wanted an unethical prosecutor. End of story.
Thank you, guys.
Minty, good evening.
Thank you.
I think that's an insult to Batman villains. Batman villains are usually well thought out. Intelligent, shrewd individuals calculating. Mr. Freeze calculating. Penguin calculating. Scarecrow, shrewd and calculating. For a prosecutor, never learned to shut. I think he's gone crazy. Roger Stone, goddamn. And Adam West, Batman. Okay. Speaking of Batman villains, Elon Musk apparently getting the ire of Steve Bannon. This is Bannon going off on Muskie Boy.
He's got a glass jaw. He can't take because of the autism or where he's on the spectrum. He's clearly not. He's got the maturity of an 11-year-old. You can tell that. But it's obvious. He can't take criticism. One of his weaknesses is that he needs to be loved. He needs the masses to love him. You can tell he's on the stage. He needs that glory. This is to have a digital ghetto and to only have raised up what praises him. That is like the little boy's mentality. If I want to be the superhero, I want to put the cape on and kind of skip around. You see this a lot in Danbury. These what they call chomos, what they call these sex offenders. They've got this
holy shit,
a maturity level that has stopped. And they want to be. They all watch the movies that have the Cape Crusaders on there. It's an absolute indication of immaturity.
Okay, yeah, he could have been talking about Trump or Musk, but he was talking about Musk. Once again, Steve Bannon, the smartest person in Trump's orbit, hands down. Hate the guy, but like, he ain't dumb. He's the only one of them that isn't fucking dumb. And probably incredibly instrumental to Trump winning both times. Holy shit. Does Musk ever hear that, though? Musk is so insulated. Does what Steve Bannon definitely has the ear of Trump. But does what Steve Bannon say about Elon Musk, does that make it back to Elon Musk? And if so, ooh. What does, goddamn. I don't think Musk makes it to the inauguration. We got one more week. Let's see it explode. We've had a lot to talk about Jimmy Carter in the last week. Jimmy Carter funeral held last week. Ralph Nader went on Democracy Now! To discuss Jimmy Carter's legacy with Amy Goodman, since we have been discussing Jimmy Carter in the chat. I love Ralph Nader. I believe he is an American hero. Let's hear what he's got to say.
This news is funded by viewers like you. Please support our work at democracynow.org/give. President Biden joined with the four.
Love you, Amy. Love Democracy Now!
For the state funeral of President Jimmy Carter. He died December 29th at the age of 100. After the service, Carter's body was flown back to his hometown of Plains, Georgia, where he was buried at his family's peanut farm next to Rosalind Carter, his wife of 77 years. She died in 2023. Speakers at the funeral included their grandson, Jason Carter.
He gave voice to dissidents, stood up to dictators, brought countries together in peace. His heart broke for the people of Israel. It broke for the people of Palestine, and he spent his life trying to bring peace to that holy land. And he talked about it at the dinner table. It was the same in public as it was in private.
Civil rights activist Andrew Young, who served as UN ambassador under President Carter, also spoke at the funeral.
James Earl Carter was truly a child of God. Not only a good farmer, but a nuclear physicist chosen by Admiral Rickover to assist.
You always forget that about him.
Nuclear Navy. But at the same time he was working on a nuclear navy, he was thinking of peace on earth and goodwill toward all men, and especially...
Georgie, good evening.
To look more at Jimmy Carter's legacy at home and abroad, we're joined by three guests. But we're beginning with Ralph Nader, the longtime consumer advocate, corporate critic, former presidential candidate.
American fucking hero.
His most recent op-ed for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is headlined, "Jimmy Carter was my last president." Welcome to Democracy Now!, Ralph Nader. Why do you say that?
He was the last president to actively encourage participation and involvement in governmental processes by the progressive civic community in Washington and around the country. I mean, he insisted on hearing from consumer advocates, environmental advocates, civil rights advocates.
Ben, welcome in.
And he proved it. He appointed the best possible regulators for the Federal Trade Commission, Mike Perchuk, Joan Claybrook for the Auto Safety Agency, Donald Kennedy for the Food and Drug Administration, Doug Costel for the...
You goddamn right Ralph Nader's still alive.
And Carol Foreman, all kinds of leaders that would never be inside government. They would be excluded. Their calls wouldn't be returned. They couldn't meet with the President of the United States. And so he really reflected his motto, why not the best? And he proved it. We had a president who was rejected by the American people in favor of a grade B actor from Hollywood, Ronald Reagan, who dismantled just about everything Jimmy Carter did. And put corporations in charge. So we have the lesson of Jimmy Carter now being conveyed to the American people at long last. And there was Donald Trump in the audience at the National Cathedral. What must be going through his mind? Must be going through his mind is this guy Carter was a lot different than I was. Donald Trump, but.
One
thing
for sure that
and I won it.
One thing for
Nader's
sure,
rambling.
President-elect Trump has commented on is that the flags will be at half staff during the inauguration, perhaps the first time ever, and he is very unhappy about that. But if you can elaborate more, Ralph Nader, on why you believe Jimmy Carter lost his second-term bid for president. Of course, he lost to Ronald Reagan. And why you believe President Trump won for the second time.
Well, he lost in great part because he was sabotaged by his own Democratic Party. He was challenged by Ted Kennedy, of course, which is okay.
Prometheus.
Competitive primary in 1980. But the Democratic Party sabotaged him in Congress. People may not remember that there was a majority Democrat control of Congress. They should have enhanced what he was doing, and they obstructed him all the way to defeating the Consumer Protection Agency, which was the prime goal of the consumer movement, which deals with health, safety, and economic well-being, after all. And this agency was going to intervene and challenge other federal agencies who were in a cushy relationship with their corporate patrons.
Took 30 more years to get one.
Playing loose with their mission in the public interest and giving corporations what they wanted, and this agency had the power to take them to court. Well, it was defeated by the Democrats in Congress, and so that weakened his performance. I think Jimmy Carter's performance, Amy, illustrates the problem of the electorate, period.
You couldn't get it up.
Their expectations for what a president should do is very, very low. If you ask average people, what would you want from a president? They wouldn't tell you all that much. They'd say, well, he should be honest and keep us strong. But look what Jimmy Carter did that was ignored by the expectations of the people, which led to the Reagan landslide of Carter and the loss of many fine senators and representatives in the Congress. He deregulated cartels over the airline, trucking, railroad industry. His personal behavior was exemplary. He was honest as presidents can come. He was stable. He read. He thought. He acted. He had an efficient use of his time. He paid attention to facts and realities, saw problems and wanted to.
He was like such a low bar.
He was okay with democracy. He was the first president to deal with renewable energy and warned about the climate issue, which people ignored. This is back in the 1970s. He observed the laws, which succeeding presidents have had a hard time doing. He pressed for arms control treaties. He wanted peace negotiations. He wasn't just shipping weapons to Netanyahu genocidal action or anywhere in the world.
Here, preach it.
Negotiations. And of course, he kept saying things that brought the best out of people. Trump brings the worst out of people, which is a very, very bad trait.
Let me
for
ask you more
presidential
about the
leader.
legacy of Carter's economic policies. In 1984, his former chief domestic policy advisor, Stuart Eisenstadt, who eulogized him yesterday at the state funeral, wrote a piece for the Washington Post headlined "In Defense of Jimmy Carter." Eisenstadt wrote, quote, "He began taking the Democrats into the new post-New Deal era. He did this by continuing to embrace the party's traditional social ideals while supporting fiscal moderation, less government intrusion in the economy, a philosophy of government that some now describe as neoliberal. He was firmly committed to fiscal
That's kind of the problem with him.
efficiency, pressed for tax reductions the nation could afford. It was Jimmy Carter, not Ronald Reagan, who began reducing the regulatory burdens on such industries as airlines, trucking, railroads, and banks." Your last minute, Ralph Nader.
Well, I'm just saying that we should observe the lessons of Jimmy Carter here. We're being led by an unstable, ignorant, corrupt madman. Let's face it, he thinks climate change is a hoax, notwithstanding the fires, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the rising sea level.
I mean, he pivoted to the important thing.
We're in a very perilous situation. The only institution...
But he did not answer the critique of Carter.
That's why we have this Capitol Citizen newspaper to empower people to pay attention to Congress, summon to town meetings, senators and representatives back in your neighborhood, and show that under the Constitution, the Congress can turn the country around. There's nothing else left, Amy. The lawyers are AWOL in our country against the lawlessness of Trump. The norms that are championed by religious groups, they're not there. The labor unions are weak. The citizenry is...
No, he's a professional gadfly.
Is there under the Constitution to make Trump obey the laws.
Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you.
A lot of people don't know how consequential Ralph Nader has been. There are probably 50 things in your household that are safer because of Ralph Nader being a little bitch about things. Like one of the big ones was GM used to make a car that exploded if it got rear-ended. And Ralph Nader took him to court. It was some deal where GM had calculated in a boardroom. They actually had the documents that it was cheaper to do payouts to victims than it was to whatever the part that it was. Like, it was a cheap ass part, but it was cheaper just for them to do a payout every once in a while. Seatbelts being a requirement. It might have been the Pinto. But I mean, there is a slew of products probably in your home that Ralph Nader made safer. He is an unsung hero. Was Pinto a Ford? Okay, yeah, that was before my time. I don't know. I might be off, but I think it was GM that was making the car that was exploding. There is a documentary about Ralph Nader. I don't know the name of it. You should totally look it up. But he is an American hero. And throughout the 60s and 70s, GM does not own Ford. GM owns Chevy and Buick and Pontiac. I don't think Pontiac's a thing anymore. I think that's one of them that they got rid of. They used to have like 8. It used to be fucking Oldsmobile and Geo, and like they had all kinds of goddamn fucking cars. And then it used to be Chrysler, but it's not even called Chrysler anymore. I don't even know when the fuck they changed it. It's Stellantis. Has Dodge and Jeep, and they had something else that they don't have anymore. And then Ford is... It used to be Lincoln, but I don't need... Do they even make Lincolns anymore? The car industries have changed over like the last 10 or 15 years. Unsafe at any speed. I think they did a documentary, and that was also what it was called. Thousands of Romanians took to the streets to protest the canceled presidential election. Tens of thousands of protesters in Romania's capital.
I don't care about Georgescu or Lasconi. It's about the right to cast the ballot.
Oh, Ralph Nader, An Unreasonable Man. That's the name of the documentary. Thank you, Holiday. Highly recommend it. So what the news is leaving out is the protesters, apparently far-right demonstrators. Tens of thousands protested in Romania's capital on Sunday against the top court's decision last month to annul the presidential election after an outsider candidate unexpectedly emerged as the front-runner. Many of the demonstrators in Bucharest honked horns and waved Romania's blue, yellow, and red flags, while others banished placards bearing slogans such as "Democracy is not optional and we want free elections." Many also demanded the resumption of the presidential race from the second round. The protest comes a month after the Constitutional Court made the unprecedented move to annul the election just 2 days before a December 8th runoff. The far-right populist...
I don't care about Georgescu.
Colin Georgescu
It's about the right.
shocked many when he won the first round on November 24th, after which allegations of electoral violations and Russian interference emerged. George Simeon, the leader of the far-right Alliance for the Unity of Romanians, said at the protest, "We are protesting against the coup d'etat that took place on December 6th. We are sorry to discover so late that we are living in a lie, that we were led by people who claim to be Democrats but are not at all." Simeon, whose party organized the protest on Sunday, told reporters we demand a return to democracy through the resumption of elections, starting with the second round. Yeah, we covered the annulment that happened back in December. So crazy shit going on in Romania. I'm going to hit the content warning, but tonight's crime stories are not too horrific. We do have a couple of deaths, but this is one of those that you're not going to be like too upset about the death. It's going to be like, holy shit, how did they do that? And I love those kinds of stories. Those are my favorite kind of stories. A driver died at the scene, and a passenger was taken to a nearby hospital where they then died after their car hit the side of a food city in Tennessee.
2 people in Oak Ridge are dead after their car crashed into Food City this morning. 10 News Anderson County reporter Emily Crabtree was there at the scene and has more. Emily.
Shea, Oak Ridge police say the crash happened around 9 this morning. The car appears to have crashed into Food City near the pharmacy drive-thru. Oak Ridge police say the driver of that car died on scene. The passenger was taken to a local hospital but later died. Now, the identities of the people in that crash have not been...
Does anybody see a road anywhere where, like, there's a hill and you can go careening off? Otherwise, the only other explanation is that they were going incredibly fast and hit something and went airborne.
Been released. It's also unclear how exactly the car crashed into the building. Once we learn more, we'll be sure to update you. Shay?
Dead after their
Oak Ridge, the Oak Ridge Food City. Please find this out. Prometheus.
car crashed into Food City this morning. 10 News Anderson County reporter Emily.
Look at that shit. Why didn't you get a better shot of the car inside the hole?
Crabtree was there at the scene and has more. Emily.
Shea, Oak Ridge police say the crash happened around 9 this morning.
Them Duke boys
Crashed into Food City near the pharmacy drive-thru. Oak Ridge police say the driver of that car died on scene. The passenger was taken to a local hospital.
There does seem to be a hill right there, but that doesn't explain how it got over here. And the hill doesn't seem to be high enough.
Died on scene. The passenger was taken to a local hospital but later died. Now, the identities of the people in that crash have not been released. It's also unclear how exactly the car crashed into the building.
Unclear indeed.
Thank you. Shay?
All right. Thanks so much, Emily.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. We're going to keep going with car crashes. This car crash happened. A deputy wasn't paying attention while he was driving his cruiser, crashing into another vehicle. And we got a little factoid about this one that's going to be proved to be interesting.
The Lake County Sheriff's Office Internal Affairs investigation found that former Deputy Tristan McComber was looking at something not safe for work before this happened. In early November, while driving south on County Road 435, his body-worn camera captured the steering wheel airbag deploying. After his department-issued cruiser crashed into the back of another car. The video shows Deputy McComber tossing a cell phone onto the seat and then picking it up before he goes to check on the other driver.
Hello, ma'am. Are you okay? I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
My brakes locked up.
Okay.
You good?
His brakes locked up. Full of shit.
It's like, oh my goodness, wait. Yeah, I'm okay.
According to the new internal affairs report, the deputy told a sergeant the brakes locked up before he rear-ended the other car, stopped for a school bus. This deputy no longer works for the Lake County Sheriff's Office. We're told he resigned while facing termination. The internal affairs investigation found he wasn't truthful about what he was doing on his phone right before impact. McComber initially stated he was scrolling through text messages in a group chat with other deputies prior to the crash, but the investigation found he was viewing something that is more visual and inappropriate while on the job. The report's conclusion says McComber admitted to lying before later revealing he was looking at pornographic material on his personal phone just before the vehicle crash. Deputies found he violated 3 sheriff's office policies.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Using an electronic device for something that's prohibited, and there was substantial evidence he wasn't wearing a seatbelt behind the wheel.
Oh, shit. And he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Yeah, what a dumbass.
2024 has been a big year.
It was weird for the firefighters with babies to pop up right after the police officer watching porn. What the fuck are you guys even talking about?
We've had 19 babies, 13 are girls, and 6.
Well, stop coming in her. Pull out. Use birth control, and then you'll stop having so many babies.
6 are boys. So today we got everybody together to take a big group photo and
Gooning while driving. He's Catholic. Christ says no condoms. I mean, raw is the law if you want to use Jesus as the excuse. God damn. Why am I like this? As long as we're talking about incompetent cops. A father and son duo was out to protect and serve a cop and his canine that were trapped in their vehicle.
Rescue by a Cleveland County father and son.
Police say the pair saved a deputy and his canine from their burning patrol car.
Our Michael Warwick talked to one of those Good Samaritans about their heroic action.
Hitting a tree head-on during a high-speed chase of 4 armed robbery suspects, this Cleveland County patrol car quickly burst into flames. Inside, Deputy Robert Taylor and Canine Thanos.
I'm very happy that the puppers was rescued. That's the bright spot in the story.
Not far away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know how I did that.
And Canine.
So, did you guys not even hear? Dude lost his wife. Put her in the ground that day.
Thanos. Not far away were Curtis Blanton and his son, Pete.
We was just out being father and son last night and ended up being in the right place at the right time.
Curtis heard the crash over a police scanner, and while mourning the loss of his own wife, who he laid to rest earlier that day, Curtis and his son raced to
insane.
Deputy Taylor on the ground outside his vehicle, badly hurt and unable to move. Curtis and Pete pulled him away from the flames and got Thanos out of the burning car too.
Didn't hesitate one bit. They lay their lives on the line for us every day. That's the least that we could do for them. We wasn't worried about the repercussions if the car blew up or whatever happened. We just wanted him safe.
Patrol Commander Captain Justin Edders shared these photos of the police cruiser taken not long after the crash, indebted to the Blantons for their bravery.
We thank them, we appreciate them. We love our community, they support us, and a lot of love and respect for them, and we really appreciate them and what they did.
Captain Edders tells me Deputy Taylor had surgery today and is in good spirits. However, he will have a long and tough recovery ahead of him. For Curtis, it's not the recognition that matters, but hearing he and his son's action made a difference.
At the end of the day, that man's alive. And that means more than anything out here. Him and his partner.
In Cleveland.
What a story. The Cleveland County Sheriff's Office tells us all 4 people in
Glad the dog's okay.
were caught and arrested. Police say they'll face charges in both Cleveland and Gatton.
2024 has been a big year.
Oh my God!
For the fire department, we've had 19 babies.
Then stop coming in her.
6 are boys. So today we got everybody.
How does that autoplay? I'm pretty sure that was a completely different TV station we were on. How? 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 Oh, clinically, no, the doggies are innocent. The doggies are innocent. They're being held hostage. No, all dogs go to heaven now. I got to break with you on that one. ACAB does not apply to the puppies. You can't be doing that kind of shit to me. Nope. That's where I part ways. The dogs are being held against their will. If they had a choice, they wouldn't be doing that shit. We're going to check back in with a live shot in Cali. They're on commercial break right now. Get an update on what's going on with the fires. Want to go to ABC 7. That's our good buddy, Chris Christie.
I need you to come out here right now.
Couple escapes 34 minutes of pure terror.
Jeffrey Koo and his wife Cheryl knew they were in a desperate situation as the Eaton fire started in the hillside above their Altadena home. He shared their escape on Instagram, calling this video you're seeing 34 minutes of pure terror. With the winds gusting, they grabbed what they could and then documented the fire between trips to the car. Smoke filled the air as fiery embers flew around this couple. Jeffrey saying at one point goodbye to their home as he backed out of the driveway, fearing he would never see that house again. We're happy to say they were one of the lucky ones, and their home still stands. Their house survived.
For now.
Says they know so many who were not as fortunate.
And that's the thing. As we have been out to the burn zone several times, it is really just pure randomness of which homes made it and which did not.
Yeah.
You could have a row of houses that have been wiped to the ground, and there stands one right next to it.
Yeah, I saw that video on Instagram. Great example and perspective of just how quickly, 35 minutes, how people had to respond so quickly. Yeah.
Scary it is too. Still ahead, a closer look at the Palisades fire.
And here's a live look from our Long Beach camera. A lot less smoky out there. Shayla Gerardin tracking the winds that are on the way. Coming up.
The winds are on the way, so this is the calm before another major firestorm.
Annual clearance event.
If you're watching on Twitch, I'm not ready to wrap it up yet. We're gonna do puppy story here. But I ain't going anywhere just yet. We're going to... God damn it, really? I gotta be signed into Facebook to watch the Instagram. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna get high and listen to music with you guys again, as we were doing before I came on. Man's puppy had been missing for 5 days after the Palisades fire.
It's Chica Chica!
Reunited with his baby.
Hi, Bubba! How's the fire? Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive! Oh, honey! Oh, wow! 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 You can take him back. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you, God. NBC. Where's NBC? Where are you, Liz? Thank you. Oh, honey, thank you. Oh, God almighty. Oh, Jane. Oh, Jane. It's Tika Tika.
I'm not crying.
Tika. It's Tika Tika. Hi, Bubba. How's the fire? Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh, my God, you're alive. You're alive. Oh, honey. Oh, wow. 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 Yeah.
Hell yeah, Oreo.
Jesus. Oh, thank you, God. NBC. Where's NBC?
It's touching. I can't help it.
Oh, honey, thank you. Oh, God almighty. Oh, Jane. Oh, Jane. It's Tika Tika.
I mean, like, I don't... Who knows what happened in the chaos? The dog might have got out or something.
How's the fire? Oh,
I can't imagine what it'd be like trying to round up my... I mean, I do my best to get my cats, but, like, herding cats in a fire. That's a... Maynard won't fucking cooperate. so you don't know what kind of situation he was in.
Thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you, God. NBC, where's NBC? Where are you, Liz? Thank you. Oh, honey, thank you. Oh, God almighty. Oh, Jane. Oh,
Maybe he wasn't home.
Tika. It's Tika.
Like that would kill me. Fires broke out. I was at work or something. My babies were inside my home, and I couldn't go back to it. All right, YouTube peoples, podcast peoples. We're gonna be here not tomorrow morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 a.m. Troll Patrol tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.